Hi everyone, my name is Jess and this is the Pecha Kucha for Group 16. Today we'll be talking to you about vital parts and people of the hospitality industry. American entrepreneur Howard Deering Johnson, the World Travel and Tourism Council, and Chef Barbara Lynch. These influential professionals and leading organizations have been crucial in shaping many aspects of hospitality today. To kick things off, we are going to start with the famous legacy of Howard Deering Johnson. Johnson was an American entrepreneur who founded Howard Johnson's, a franchise of both restaurants and motor lodges. He was one of the first to use the franchising model in the restaurant industry, ultimately paving the way and setting an example for franchises in the future. His shop began as a medicines and toilet article shop, which solely sold candy, newspapers, cigars, and ice cream. In fact, Johnson became very well known for the ice cream he sold. He wanted to offer the highest quality and most variety when it came to ice cream flavors. His secret to his famous 28 flavors was selling ice cream that contained twice the common amount of butterfat, making it hard to resist for customers. Howard Deering Johnson went down in history as the first to introduce franchising into the restaurant and lodging industry. His legacy continued as he opened more restaurants and lodges across the country. Fun fact, his lodges had bright orange roofs, so it would be easier to catch the attention of motorists on the highway, proving every little detail in hospitality has a purpose. I'm now going to pass it to Chisholm to tell you more about Johnson's influential role in hospitality.
Thank you, Jess. In 1929, Johnson convinced a family friend, Reginald Sprague, to open a quality restaurant and ice cream stand on Cape Cod. He agreed to buy all ice cream and food products from Johnson and to allow Johnson to set the standards for all food served at the restaurant. This venture created the first modern-day restaurant franchise. Johnson repeated his restaurant franchising formula with motor lodges, creating one of the world's largest hotel chains at the time. His earliest business strategy was to secure exclusive hospitality contracts along state turnpikes. When the company went public in 1961, there were about 605 restaurants and 88 motor lodges. In 1959, Johnson turned the company over to his son. Under his son's direction, the company grew substantially. After selling the company in 1979, the restaurant chain failed due to leadership complications. The motel lodge arm of the company still exists, however, and is now owned by Winner Hotels. Fun fact, Hoju was actually a former Howard Johnson hotel. Now I'm going to pass it on to Chloe.
Thank you, Chisholm. I'm going now to talk about the World Travel and Tourism Council, which represents the global private sector of the tourism industry. With over 200 members, it strives to ensure inclusive and sustainable tourism. They focus on issues regarding safe and seamless travel, crisis readiness and resilience, and sustainable growth with environmental action. WTTC is one of the world's largest economic drivers with collaboration with 200 different companies in the hospitality industry, including those in hotels, airlines, airports, tour operations, cruise, car rentals, travel agents, rail, and the economy to speak as one body to govern it. In their latest annual report in conjunction with Oxford Economics, covering 185 countries and 25 regions, it showed the tourism sector experienced 3.5% growth, the largest in the last 9 years. It also showed the industry accounted for $8.9 trillion in the world's gross domestic product and 10.3% of the global GDP and created 330 million jobs. And now here's John to talk to you more about the WTTC.
Thank you, Chloe. Now I'm going to take us into the effects of COVID-19. As we know, travel and tourism is one of the best partners for government to generate employment. However, with the COVID-19 crisis, they are in uncharted territories. It is essential that governments recognize this and implement measures that will safely restart and facilitate the faster recovery of the travel and tourism sector and save millions of livelihoods that depend on it. Because of barriers to global travel, such as quarantine measures, inadequate testing and tracing, limited adoption of global health and safety protocols, we could see a second wave of infections and could all lead to significant economic losses. As you can see in these diagrams, how big of an impact COVID has on the labor force. Even during their upside scenarios, it is significantly lower than the normal numbers that we are used to seeing. I'm now going to pass it off to Juliet.
Barbara Lynch is a renowned chef in the Boston area. With a multitude of restaurants and awards, she is one of the top chefs in the country. Lynch grew up in South Boston, starting her passion for cooking at the young age of 12. Her first thoughts of truly pursuing a career as a chef started at a gentleman's club that she cooked at with her mother in 1988. Lynch took risks to build her skill set, including pilgrimages to Italy and France in her 20s, where she learned how to cook traditional cuisine from the local women. Following Lynch's return home from these culinary trips, she became the executive chef at Galleria Italiana in Boston. This kick-started her career, leading her to open a restaurant of her own, No. 9 Park, in the Beacon Hill area. No. 9 Park would later be named in the top 25 new restaurants in America by Bon Appetit and Best New Restaurant by Food & Wine. Over the course of a few years, Barbara Lynch opened a multitude of restaurants and test kitchens across the Boston area, those being B&G Oysters, The Butcher Shop, Drink, a bar dedicated to the craft of the cocktail, Sportello, Barbara's modern interpretation of a diner, Stir, and most recently opened in 2010, Menton. These culinary concepts are now collectively under the Barbara Lynch Grupo, which employs over 200 people. Throughout her openings, Lynch continuously won new awards and titles. In 2013, Lynch was inducted into the James Beard Foundation's Who's Who of Food and Beverage in America, a prestigious group of the most accomplished food and beverage professionals in the country. Following, in 2014, Barbara received her second James Beard Foundation Award and was named Outstanding Restaurateur, making her the second woman to ever receive this honor. Philanthropy is a priority that Lynch holds high, which led her to start Barbara Lynch Foundation in 2012. Her foundation's program, Meet the Worms, is dedicated to helping Boston's communities create healthy and inspired futures for its youth. The program teaches third-grade children of the Blackstone Elementary School in Boston about the importance of nutrition, exercise, and community involvement. Overall, Lynch tries to inspire the students so that they can connect with their parents when they go home and bring their learning experiences to life outside the classroom. Barbara Lynch has built herself a career from the ground up, leading her to be one of the most prestigious, well-known chefs in the country. Now I will pass to Chisholm.
This brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for your time and attention. We hope you've all learned some things about Howard Johnson, the World Travel and Tourism Council, and Barbara Lynch, as well as their various contributions to the hospitality industry that you might have not been familiar with before.